All right. Well, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. And welcome back to another magnificent Monday here in Miss G's Ladies Lounge. I am your host, Gwen Miss G Finley. That's me. And I'm so excited to be here once again on tonight. It is just a wonderful evening. And I'm excited about the conversation and the chat that we're getting ready to have. First, if you could just do me a great favor and just like, tag, and share. Let your friends know that we are live, we are ready, we are just ready to go. All right, so listen, I want to welcome all of our first time guests, and I want to welcome each and every person who is returning with us once again. If you're catching the live or the replay, we're so excited to have you with us on today. It is always a pleasure to have my sisters and even some of the fellas hanging out with us. So today, listen, fellas, you can come on in the room. Come on in the room. We don't have girl talk today. So I have a great guest, as I said. So make sure that you let everyone know we're live. So today we're going to be talking about some great things such as, success, some mental toughness. We're going to hear some things that today that you may not have heard, or you may not have heard it the way you're going to hear it today. So I've got this great guest, and I just want to tell you a little bit about him before I bring him in. So today, my guest is Chris Salem, and he is an accomplished CEO, business executive coach, a world class speaker, a corporate trainer and advisor. He is an award winning author, a certified mindset expert, a radio show host, and a media personality and wellness advocate, mentoring business leaders and organizations towards solutions for enhancing corporate culture, improving workplace communications, and increasing employee engagement. In addition, he mentors business leaders and organizations to scale their brands and business by raising their level of influence as trusted advisors. His book, Master Your Inner Critic, Resolve the Root Cause and Create Prosperity, went international bestseller in 2016. He also co authored the recent addition to Mastering the Art of Success with Jack Canfield. His weekly radio shows, Sustainable Success, is part of the Voice America Influencers channel, and Business Influencers with Tile Radio, part of the Touch a Life Foundation. Chris has worked with organizations such as JP Morgan Chase, Ralph Lauren, Microchip Technologies, Anthem, Raytheon, Pratt and Whitney, United Healthcare, GE Research, the U.S. Senate, the FDA, the U.S. Census Bureau, Hubble Corporation, and the NYPD Forensics Department, including universities such as University of Hartford, Bay Path University, Westchester Community College, Worcester State University, and he spoke on overcoming limited beliefs for peak performance at Harvard University's Faculty Club. Listen, how awesome is that? If you don't mind, just help me welcome my guest on today. Hey, Chris, how are
Hey,
you?
man, it's great to be here. I'm so excited to be on your show. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And I tell you, I am, just listening to myself reading your bio as I've read it a couple of times, it just really inspires me all over again. So Chris, the first question I want to ask you is, how do you find the time to do all of those things? That's first.
Well, God, yeah, that's a good question. Well, it's been 23 plus years in the making. I attribute it all to valuing your time. When you can value your time, you can manage your time more effectively. So
Mm,
when you're out to just manage time, that's all you're doing is managing time. That's not really addressing the distractions or the priorities that don't matter, the ones that really do it. But if we can value it, And then it's my
Mhm.
daily routine, having that structure of through discipline and consistency of doing things that keep you on track to focus on the
Mhm.
priorities that matter. And without getting caught up in distractions, you're able to get things done in a more specific, clear, concise manner. Not that you're just getting it done in a faster way, but you're getting it done where you're not spending as much time, with distractions. So you're able to get things done in a set period of time and still have that time for harmony to do other things in your life, whether it's your family, your marriage, hobbies, and all those things. So I'm not saying it's always perfect balance, but it's
Right.
that harmony we strive for.
Wow. So that's good. So you have to, you have to be good at planning your day and planning your life pretty much, right? So the ultimate goal for when you're doing that is going to be to have success, right?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about success. What is success to you?
Well, that's a great question. So, success is always in the eye of the beholder. But for me, success is when I can find, in this case, not find, but to create the harmony. Notice I'm using the word harmony because balance, think of a balance being, if it were a seesaw on its axis point, it would require an enormous amount of energy to keep it perfectly balanced. Perfection is very exhausting to maintain. So I'm seeking that harmony where it's teetering instead of being balanced. And when you can seek that harmony, there's going to be that give or take. So for me, success is when I can create the alignment or the harmony between my wellness principles, which I'm happy to define what those are,
Mhm.
and my wealth principles. Wealth principles, not just being your net worth, but being that, what is the why that what you do in each every day? The role
Mhm.
that you play in your business to help create value and having freedom to do the things that you love to do in between and spending time with your family. And then it's the wellness side. So when you can find that harmony with wellness and your wealth principles, that is to me what the definition of success is. And I have a term for that I trademark called prospreneur. That is the life
Yeah.
of a prospreneur when you can have that alignment between your wellness and your wealth principles. And wellness consists of 8 pillars of wellness, by the way.
Wow, wow, wow. So yeah, I'm going to come back to that.
Sure.
One of the things that we're going to talk a little bit about this great book that you penned, and I make sure I have my copy and it's autographed. So I'm so excited. I love the book. I love the book. And one of the chapters in there is knowing your why. So let's start there, and then we'll go to all of the wealth principles. But let's start
Sure.
with actually knowing your why, because you you're not going to get wealth if you don't even know why you're doing what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
So tell us about that.
So knowing your why is very important. Now, some cases people may not know why. So really learning how to tap into that silent part of where you are, and that's going within. So finding time to meditate and journal at maybe early in the morning where you can get your brain into in this case, into the moment so that there's clarity. And in that
Mhm.
clarity is when we can start to tap into our subconscious and unconscious mind to see what is really happening from within that's really calling us to action. What's leading us to really spend more time where even though we could go through challenges or setbacks, yet when we're going through it, it seems effortless because we've been called to that area from somewhere from within. So some cases we have to create it, we have to choose it, but just knowing that when you give yourself that opportunity to go within to determine what that is doesn't mean you have to know it verbatim. To choose then something that feels right for you, that you can start to really grab by the horns and really begin to become it. So you have to think it, to be it, to become it, to do it, and then to have the results that you seek as a part of that why. So, because without a why, it's very hard to steer where you're going and what direction you're heading to. Because if we're just operating from what we do, it's like throwing mud at a wall. And when we hit
Mhm.
obstacles and challenges, which you will, we often get distracted by them. We often avoid them. We often get off. We derail ourselves from what we thought we were going after. We get caught up in shiny object syndrome. So here we can stay the course of really following. We may have to change paths, but we're still going after the things that can constitute what our why is.
Wow. So you have to, and I'm the vision person. So your why, connects with your vision,
Yeah.
and then it helps it to bloom. So who can have this, or who should be looking for this why or this success? Is it like narrowed down to a special group of people, or a special talent?
Not at all, because first of all, the most successful people in the world, and again, success is not measured by how much just money you make or what title or that you hold in the world and so forth. It's that you're living your fullest life to your fullest potential. You're living
Mhm.
that life, that truth of why you do what you do to the fullest potential. Everything else is a byproduct of that. Money, notoriety, whatever that may be. That's what's most important. Now, we all have strengths and weaknesses. We all have certain skills and talents and so on. But the talent and skill alone is not all that's necessary to achieve success. The
Mhm.
people that are most successful in life and business are the ones that show up every day and are consistent
Mhm.
with their routine, their priorities that really matter versus that don't matter, and that are living their why each and every day in embracing
Mhm.
challenges, not avoiding them,
Right.
and learning to trust the process of what you could control and fully letting
Mhm.
go of what you cannot control. That is what success is. You don't have to have, be the best athlete in the world, the smartest person in the room. It's about your level of commitment to the process, being consistent through discipline to see things through. Those are the people that achieve more sustainability with their success over time, whatever that means to him or her.
Wow. So yeah, that's good. So then it takes, as you said, it takes discipline. It takes, really focus. And so you talk about something. One of the things that you talk about is mindset. You're a
Yes.
mindset expert. What in the world does that mean?
So, I mean, mindset is that I've trained over the last 23 years in the areas of understanding how the mind works and operates. It's not that I have the academic credentials, but I have the certifications in certain things in terms of through organizations like Mindset Sciences, where I was certified in the area of mindset in order to teach the concepts of how the mindset works. A lot of it's
Mhm.
based upon personal experience and my dedication of reading up on this area for over 23 years and through the actual experience of actually implementing these processes. As human
Mhm.
beings, we are oftentimes hardwired through evolution to operate from what we call a survivor type mindset, meaning that when cavemen were occupied our planet thousands and thousands of years ago, they would come out of a cave and they had to hunt for their food, and obviously there was a lot of fear because they could be attacked by an animal, and so there was
Mhm.
a lot of uncertainty that they had to deal with, a life or death
Mhm.
situation. The thing is as we've evolved in a lot of ways with technology, and of course we don't have to hunt for our food, we can go to the grocery store. We still carry a lot of that survival mindset and other things. People just tend to kind of just survive. They get by on making living paycheck to paycheck, or they get caught up in worry, stress, and anxiety because they're so consumed by what they cannot control: the economy,
Mhm.
COVID, the
Right.
weather, trying to control other people and what they're doing instead of controlling the things that they can control. So
Mhm.
I call this a fixed mindset, and a fixed mindset operates in the past and the future, not in the moment. And when you operate in the past and the future, when a situation triggers fear, it automatically attaches itself to a limiting or beliefs from your past, simultaneously gets projected into the future, and it tells you through the prefrontal cortex that perhaps your inner critic is telling you you're not capable of taking on this task. Who do they think they are putting me in charge? If they only knew that I don't really know what I'm doing, they would have never been in this position. This is what people maybe
Right.
the world doesn't know this, but you're saying this to yourself. So
Right.
when we're doing these things, we're caught up in the past and the future, and this is going to affect how we feel. We're going to have worry. We're going to worry. We're going to have anxiety. We're going to feel
Mhm.
overwhelmed, frustrated, angry. And when that's happening, we don't realize that it impacts our confidence, our self-esteem, how we communicate to ourselves in a codependent versus an interdependent way, how we communicate the same way to other people based on
Mm.
assumption, speculation, not being specific, clear, and concise. It affects our behavior, where we're more codependent in our behavior. It affects
Mhm.
our attitude, our emotions, because we see things happening to us. We're the victim instead of
Right.
happening for us, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
And that we often are busy but not productive. We get caught up in distractions, shiny object
Whew.
syndrome. All of these are a byproduct of a fixed mindset.
That's it.
And it's like a hamster wheel. We just repeat it over and over and over and over until we learn
Yeah.
how to use mental toughness through discipline and consistency to shift into the moment where fear is reduced or cannot grow, and shifting away from limiting beliefs, so that when we can trust the process, shifting away from expectations tied to outcomes, which most people do, where you lose your power, to then controlling what you can in the moment, letting the results be a byproduct of that. That rewires our brain to think differently, to be, to become, to do, and have over time to achieve better results. You may even go through more obstacles, more setbacks, and so on, but you look at it as an opportunity because you see it happening for you, not to you.
To you. Ooh, that's good. That is so good, man. You had me all up in there because you were talking about me everywhere in that in that
No,
statement.
that's 90. That's 99% of the world.
Right,
You're
right.
not alone.
Yeah, and I was reading where you talked about sometimes it's even from, things like with your family upbringing and,
Yes.
overbearing parents and, things like that. And some of my cousins and I were speaking, not that long ago, and we were talking about our parents who we love dearly. And, they were go-getters in their own right, but a lot of times when we were younger, they feared so much, they held us from doing certain things that we really wanted to do. Now, some of that was protective and they did protect us,
Good
but then there were
intention.
some things that we could have probably done, but they it was like either left or right, no in between. And so I was reading that in here and I was like, oh, wow, this is really true. And the mindset remains. I'm about to be 62 years old and I still have some of that stuff stuck in there, And now I'm still working on getting some of that out. Like I'm really just kind of releasing myself in the last 10 years, I would say, from some of those things that I had that was really inhibiting me, you know. So yeah.
Well, I first of all, I want to say that the fact that you see that you are growing more than you think you are, and you're making lots of advancements in your journey, where some people are not even aware of that for themselves at this point.
Right.
And I always say it doesn't matter what age you are. I've had people, start this process in their 70s, and they're saying,
Hmm.
"Hey, I'm looking for the last remaining part of my life, just that I could live
Absolutely.
in peace and harmony, and I don't have to live from like what I was, what I learned growing up, and the things that I allowed myself hold me back all those years, or affected my relationships with myself
Hmm.
and other people, my well-being, and my career, and making choices."
Yeah, yeah. And even like you said, sometimes, excuse me, we'll be at work, and people are trying to hand us something and we're not thinking we're worthy of it. I will tell you this. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 31, 32 years. And almost all of my nursing career, I didn't think I was eligible or capable of being in management. So I didn't pursue management. It wasn't until the last 10 years that I started pursuing it. And I was probably qualified just as much prior to the last 10 years, but I started thinking about that one day. And I tell people now, I tell younger women and, whatever, just go for it. One girl came to me a few weeks ago and she's new, and I was training her and she's like, I'm so afraid that I'm going to make a mistake. I said, just fake it until you make it. That's it. Do it as much as you can, and you're learning, but just don't let everybody know that you don't know, like you said. Just keep moving like you know what you're doing. If you're wrong, I'll let you know. Somebody's gonna let you know if you're really wrong. So, all right. So you talked about the mental toughness and you talked about the mindset. So most of that is what your book says, the mastering the inner critic, resolving the root cause. And so most of that is what you're talking about with the root cause.
Yeah, the root cause again to any limiting beliefs always is something tied to your childhood. Again, limiting beliefs are forged during the child development years, anywhere from the age of 5 or 6 up till 12 or 13, anywhere in between. It's often tied to a parent or parents, usually one parent. I know for me, my one of my main limiting beliefs was the need for validation. I had a
Mhm.
strong need for validation. I didn't know this at the time. I can only
Right.
say this in hindsight when I found this out through my routine, when I addressed the root cause to my limited beliefs. It all came through meditation and journaling over a period of time. But the
Mhm.
reason why I had a strong need for validation was because I didn't get it growing up from my father, meaning that I was always
Mhm.
seeking my dad's approval, seeking my dad's attention. And since I didn't get it, I began to seek it out in other people. So what ended up happening from a place of communication and behavior, I became codependent. I was passive
Mhm.
aggressive. Passive meaning I was a pleaser or enabler, because if I went on my way to please and enable you, you would
Mhm.
say, "Well, thank you so much for all you do, and you do such a great
Right.
job, Chris." And then hopefully that was going to make me feel good, but it was
Right.
never enough because it never felt
Right.
good. And as a
Mhm.
result of that, I was exhausted, and I wasn't really helping them by pleasing and enabling them. I kept them
Mhm.
stuck in their ways. And then I could become aggressive, where I had high expectations for myself and other people. And as a
Mhm.
result of that, when it went unfulfilled, because I was tied to the expectation to the outcome, I was not in the moment, I would be disappointed. So I would experience all these different situations through fear in the past and the future. I experienced it through anger, feeling stressed and, and had anxiety. And because of that, that led to having a lower level of self esteem and confidence. I had problems making decisions. I did not communicate well. And again, I was a passive aggressive instead of being
Mhm.
interdependent, being assertive, where I was specific, clear, and concise, and my behavior would be very calm and not reactive to situations coming from a negative emotions. So all of these things are happening when we are operating not from the solution. So the root cause is always going to be tied to somebody, probably like a parent, and it's not forgiving your parent only; it's forgiving yourself, and
Right.
that's often the hardest person to forgive. And some people find it hard to forgive their father or mother because there's so much deeply rooted hurt there, depending upon how traumatic your childhood was. In some cases, that can be very difficult. Yet, it's the only way you're going to get out of the problem and the solution. There is no solution in the box. There is no other way you can to deal with that unless you address it at the root level. It's like with anything like cancer. You can manage your cancer. Maybe you might extend your life. Maybe you can live a
Mhm.
quality life with the cancer and
Right.
eventually succumb to it, or you can get to the root cause of the cancer and eliminate it.
Mm. Wow. So how does a person even begin like if a person is working to gain success, whatever their
Mhm.
success level is, or whatever it is that they're going after, and they realize that, it's just not working for them,
Mhm.
how can they begin to like take this self evaluation to see
Yeah,
what's going on and try to start moving into a different direction? Because
absolutely.
some people are really stuck.
Well, they're stuck. It's a process,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
oftentimes it's how we think.
Right.
If we're still thinking the same way, then you're being the same way, and you're becoming the same way, and you're doing the same thing, and you're going to have the same results. You have to
Mhm.
be able to think different. So it's being aware that you're not where you desire to be. It's beginning to shift. It's beginning to say, what can I control each and every day by coming into the moment? Well, there are five things you can control each and every day. That is your communication to yourself and other people, your behavior, your attitude, emotions happening for you, not to you, big difference, and
Mhm.
your course of action. Those five things is all you're responsible for controlling each and every day.
Wow.
We can't control the weather. We can't control COVID, the
Right.
economy, what's happening in your industry. Let that go. You also can't control the five things I just mentioned in other people. But see, as
Mhm.
people, we get caught up in those five things with people that we try to control their communication.
Mhm.
She didn't get back to my email. I thought I had her sold. Oh, she didn't get back. And you start
Right.
to worry about why did they not get back instead of letting it go and focusing on whatever you can control with your communication or your course of action. When we get
Yeah.
caught up in other people's behavior, communication, attitude, emotions, and course of action, we're going to put ourselves back into the past and the future, and you're going to operate from anxiety, stress, anger, and that's
Mhm.
not how we become successful. We have to address it at the root cause over time: meditation, journaling, having a daily routine, having a foundation over time that can get you out of the problem into the solution, learning to control the five things that you can, fully letting go of the five things you can't, putting together a, a plan for your business, for your
Mhm.
life, to find that harmony, and then take the puzzle pieces you have right now in your business and to begin to maximize that with what you know right now. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen in a week. Focus with the pieces that you have right now. And as those new pieces come into your control, you connect them to complete your puzzle. That is the results that eventually that you will set out to achieve. So it's
Wow.
trusting that process of controlling what you can, letting go of what you can't. I'll give you a little example of this. There was times when I was in sales that I learned when I went out and put the effort to what I could control, and I
Mhm.
would maximize that. And still, I didn't get a response back from someone that was going to buy from me.
Right.
And I said, well, I could try to will that and try to force it, which would have created more
Mhm.
anxiety or stress, possibly push the person away now.
Right.
I
Right.
would go for a drive almost every Friday afternoon. I would take the whole half the day off and go for a drive.
Mhm.
I would just go relax, go for a drive. Did you realize that
Yes.
most of my sales that came after the work I did before, like in the past, would come
Mhm.
when I had fully let go of the control I couldn't control.
Just relaxed.
Give
Mhm.
without expectation, receive without resistance.
Wow. Give without
I can tell you
expectation.
right now, I can't guarantee life, but I can
Mhm.
guarantee if you take what was just shared with you, put it to the
Mhm.
test. Doesn't mean it's always going to turn out that way every time 100%. But I can say if you give it a valid time frame to do that, you will
Mhm.
see you'll see the results from what was just shared. You will see the
Oh,
results.
that is so good. That is so good. So that's why they call you the trusted advisor. So you don't just, come on little shows like this and talk to our great audience.
When I love shows. Your show, first of all, you have a professional show. I
Thank
love
you.
what you do. I,
Thank
I,
you.
I'm not. I go on a show that does it with that where I connect with people like yourself, where we have shared values, and
Mhm.
because I know that you and I have shared values, because we know that when we
Mhm.
met last October, that,
Mhm.
and you've been on my show before. that I can say that the people that are listening to your show have similar values.
Absolutely.
Those are my peeps that I desire to serve, because they're open and they said, I can relate to this guy. But more importantly is that they feel related to and understood by me. It's about them, not about me. I don't care if there's 5 people or there's
Absolutely.
5,000 people. It does not matter to me.
That's good. That's good. And so, yeah, we were a small gathering, in Atlanta, Georgia, and but the things that you taught, I had so many clips, and they're probably somewhere in the archives in my phone. I have so much stuff in there, but I had so many clips, and I really went back and I listened to them. And one of the things that I did love about listening to you was you spoke business, but you also, brought it down home. And you even brought in some Christian values, which I am a Christian and I love talking about, the Bible and things like that. So you brought in biblical principles as well. So tell me how you just kind of bring all of that together, how you came up with this method of training.
All of this is all through experience and trial and error. I mean, when I went through a life-changing experience when my father was dying of lung cancer at the age of 56, I realized at that point that my life was on a downhill spiral. I was that if I kept going the way I was going, I wasn't going to live another 2 years. I was working, I was burning the candle at both ends. I was working
Yeah.
around the clock. It was all work, no play, and I was also, dealing with 12 years of addiction on top of that to escape.
Mm,
When my dad was dying, the day before he died, it's like he was speaking to me, but not where it was verbal. It was all through some kind of different type of way of communication. To
right.
this day, I cannot explain. But let's
Mhm.
just say it was life changing, an epiphany. And my dad kind of revealed to me that, even though he was not around when I was growing up, he loved me and my brother and my mother, even though he was unfaithful to my mother. He just
Mhm.
didn't know how to be the father or the husband he was supposed to be. And the reason was because he wasn't treated the same way from his father. He was simply repeating the same patterns that were
Mhm.
passed on to me and my brother, that I would have done the same thing to my children. But thank God I
Mhm.
caught it in time before I had
Right.
children to
Right.
change it, to break the pattern. But limiting beliefs are passed on from generation to generation to generation,
Mhm.
repeated over and over again. Now, in my case, that was the light bulb that finally went off. And I said, I can't be the victim anymore. I can't blame the world. No matter what has happened to you, no matter how traumatic that is, that's not your fault.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
it's your responsibility to decide whether if you're going to sit in it and stew about it, or you're going to do something to change it and use it to your advantage to not only help yourself, but inspire other people that go into something similar to do something
Yeah.
in their lives. And you be that example and resource for them and pass it on, keep passing it on, pass it on from one person to another. That's what builds interdependency in our homes, our communities, and our workplaces to make a better world. We stop our own selves. It's either you for you or you against you. And unfortunately, most people operate against themselves because they allow those
That's
limiting
true.
beliefs from fear
Mhm.
to keep them stuck in their tracks.
Absolutely.
I'm not special in any way. I'm just like every other human being out there. I operated in the problem for 31 years of my life. I have ADHD on top of that. Now, just imagine now.
Mhm.
Now, I was able to overcome my symptoms of ADHD through my daily routine that I've been doing for a long time. I don't take medication.
Mhm.
But I'm able to be focused. I'm able to, be organized and follow through. But I couldn't do that if I wasn't consistent with getting to the root cause of my limiting beliefs, developing a success foundation, and sustaining that through my daily routine and doing the things that are moving my life and business forward. And then reminding myself that every day I got to show up to be that example. I have to be an example through my communication, my behavior, my attitude, my emotions happening not to me, and my course of action. So when people observe that, whether that's my son, my wife, people like my clients, people I do peer groups with, or we do joint ventures, that I can be that example and resource for them to do for themselves, and then pass it on from there. That is interdependency at its finest, and that's what my mission in life and business to do, is to do that for other people unconditionally.
Wow. You are amazing, Chris. You are so amazing. I really, really, really enjoy hearing you. Looking at your works. I watch your show. Tell us a little bit about your show. Um,
Sure. I have two
Sustainable Success.
shows.
Mhm.
Yep. I have two shows, one called Sustainable Success. It's been around for almost 6 years now on the Voice America Influencers channel. We look at life and business as one. We look at how business process of all sizes, from Fortune 500 right down to the solopreneur. We also address wellness topics. We address relationship. We look at the 8 pillars of wellness. We look at, again, that harmony between wellness and wealth, prospreneur that we talked about before. Business influencers is also very similar to sustainable success, tends to be a little bit more where it's just more leaning towards business in that way. Yet it's all designed to help, those, whether if you're a business or even a solopreneur, that we're all capable of providing impact in the world through our message, through why and what we do in our products and services to help move people forward. So that's what business is. And that's what the telradio.org web site, and that's part of Touch of Life organization, which is a large for-profit and nonprofit organization that based in India, but has offices all throughout the United States and other parts of Europe, Asia.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, how can people find your show?
Well, the way they can find the show is you could Google business influencers at telradio.org. It's also on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, same thing. Sustainable Success is at the Voice America Influencers channel, where you can type in Sustainable Success radio show. And that also is on Apple, Spotify, and of course the Voice America Influencers channel. And people could always reach out on my website at christophersalem.com, or LinkedIn, or my email at chris@christophersalem.com. Either way, I love to get to know people and get to know you.
Absolutely. I'm gonna after the show is over, I'm gonna pin that into the post under the show. Listen, I'm telling you, I am so you have just stirred me up a little bit right here, which is a good thing. And you do also do personal coaching, or do you do personal coaching
Yes, I
as well
do.
as
I do
business?
personal coaching. Yes, I'm. It's all about mentoring and coaching people one on one. I do group, and then I also work with companies as well, obviously. So I work with corporations, companies, like dental offices, CPA firms, law offices. But I work one on one with entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, coaches, people running brick and mortar businesses that really are looking to make an impact, and then just need some guidance to kind of get over that hump, and then to develop their level of influence and help scale their businesses at the same time.
Awesome. So we didn't get to those 8 wealth
Well,
principles.
I'll cite them right. You want me to do them real quick for you?
Okay. I don't
All
want
right.
to
So
hold
the 8 rules of
you.
wellness, I'll do it really fast. Social wellness. It's the relationship with yourself and other people. There's three types of relationships: codependent, independent, interdependent. The key is to have the relationship with yourself, where you love yourself unconditionally, and now you can be the example and a resource to help others do the same. That is interdependency, not codependency, where you depend upon others, and your emotions and everything are tied to things you can't control. Interdependency owns your role and duties and is accountable for that. You're responsible for your results and your emotions as a result of it. There's emotional well-being, operating from the root cause of absolving limiting beliefs and operating within the solution. Physical well-being is then again honoring your temple, making sure you're putting in foods that are best adapt to your body, and moving around, exercise, finding that routine that's going to keep you energized to do the things that you've been set out to put on this planet to do. Spiritual wellness. It's not only the belief in your higher power, but the belief in yourself. It's got to be in harmony. It's a two-way street. Too many people believe in their higher power, but they don't believe in themselves. That's the disconnect. So financial wellness, that is going to be your relationship with money. Is either you're coming from an abundant standpoint or a lack of or scarcity. Again, all tied to limiting beliefs from our childhood with when your parents talked about money in a negative way. These things can impact you greatly in your adult life and keep you living paycheck to paycheck or living above your means and really, living in debt. So these are the things that can be adjusted by finding that harmony and getting to the root cause of limiting beliefs and using the 8 pillars of wellness to sustain it. Occupational wellness, it's the why you do what you do. It's not just what you do, but why do you do what you do? Absolutely. Finding, creating that, determining what that is, and being that every day. Intellectual wellness, just like we work out our bodies, we work out our minds. Cut back on social media, cut back on TV, replace it with reading books, trivia, doing puzzles, things that are going to get your mind to kind of be thinking, solving challenges, and creating solutions. And then finally, environmental wellness. It's your organization in your life, in your home, your car, your workplace. When you can find that harmony versus being cluttered, you're going to have more clarity to be focused to get things done. When you can have those 8 pillars in alignment, in harmony, you're going to be able to get through any challenge and be able to become, to do, and have better results long term, no matter what obstacles get in your way. Ask any Olympian athlete that, and they'll tell you the same thing, that's what they think in a different way. And they've gone through a lot of setbacks that, if you look in hindsight, that when they won that gold medal or silver medal or bronze medal, you don't know the story they went through to get there. There was a lot of setbacks, but they didn't look at it that way. They saw it as part of the process to grow and become, to achieve those better results long term.
Wow.
We're no different from those people. We're no different from those people.
Right. That's so amazing. I was listening and I was counting down and I was like, I think I'm doing that. I think I'm doing that. Because I have really been working on myself, really been changing some things in my life. And so I'm glad to know that I'm on the right path.
But trust that process.
That is so awesome. I hope that our audience has really taken, listening to everything that you're saying and take notes, go back and watch it again if you have to, because, and then reach out, get this book. I'll tell you, this book is an easy read. It's not, it's not like, because you're so smart with, some people get nervous, like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to understand. Listen, this right
here. Yeah. I took all the filler words out. There's no BS. It's straight to the point. And that's what I don't have time to read 200-page books anymore.
Exactly.
Get to the point, and that's what this book did. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much once again. Thank your wife, your beautiful wife, for allowing you to take time with us.
Thank you for having giving me the opportunity to share. And anytime, I'll do anything that helps you and your audience. It's been a blessing to be on your show.
Awesome. Hopefully maybe we can get you out here to Richmond, Virginia soon.
All right. We're not far. We're about 8-9 hours apart drive, so it's not that far.
Yeah, not that far. So listen, thank you once again. I look forward to speaking with you really soon. And you have yourself a wonderful night. Get yourself some good rest.
Thank you so much, Glenn, for having me.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, everybody, you heard it right there. The great show coming today with our guest, Chris Salem. I'll tell you, you really do need to. And hold on, let me see if I can get Chris back in here for a quick minute.
I'm here.
Chris, we didn't say where they can get your book.
Oh, yeah. The book you can either get it on my website at ChristopherSalem.com, or you could get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or there's an Audible version if you prefer to listen to it in the car. You can get an Audible version as well. So I would say Amazon's probably the easiest, and you could get it there. But If you go to my website, you can do it there. You could go to Barnes & Noble as well. The book is, make sure it's Master Your Inner Critic, Resolve the Root Cause, Create Prosperity, because there is another book called Master Your Inner Critic, and mine is the one with the second tagline, just to make sure they get the right book.
Yeah, let me just show the cover again. So
Yes.
make sure you get the right one. Make sure you get the right one, Christopher Salem. All right. Thank you so much. And once again, and you have yourself a good night.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining in. Thank you over here. You've been popping in and chatting with me. Thank you. I appreciate it. We didn't pop anything on there because I wanted everyone to really just get the conversation on tonight. But thank you to those of you who joined us on tonight. We look forward to seeing you again next Monday at 8 p.m. Another great guest, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me. I love to see you here. Thank you once again. And you do yourself a favor and have a great, great night.